England have only won the World Cup once, but they've still produced some world-class players. From the World Cup winners, the stars of Italian 90, Euro 96, and of course the golden generation, the likes of HURST, GASCOIGNE, Shearer, Beckham, Gerrard, Owen and many others. With so much talent, the question is, who are the top 10 England players of all time? Let's find out. At number 10, we have to go with the man that is the reason for the most iconic piece of commentary in English football, and they think it's all over, it is now. Sir Geoff Hurst is still the only player to score a hat-trick in a World Cup final, and he was a key part of the England 1966 World Cup winning team. However, he only started for England because a certain player on our list was injured, so he came in as a replacement. But with that said, Hurst was still an England great, and as a forward he scored 24 goals in 49 appearances. Fun fact, Hurst left the football world to retrain as a salesman. At number 9, Stuart Pearce was the best British left back for 12 years. He's known for his passion, drive and story of redemption. After missing a crucial penalty at Italian 90, Pearce found redemption at Euro 96 when he scored his penalty against Spain, which led to his iconic passionate image, gaining him the nickname of Psycho. Despite humble non-league beginnings where he played 100 games, Pearce went on to captain England 9 times, score 5 international goals and make 78 appearances. At number 8, Paul Gascoigne. Gazza is described by the National Museum as the most gifted English player of his generation. Gazza was gifted with incredible ball control and most of all the confidence to try things other players would only dream of. However, his troubles off the field are probably the cause why some people think he only showed glimpses of his true potential. He was still a part of the Italian 90 team that reached the 4th place at the World Cup. Gazza will live forever in the memory of English football history due to the passion and tears he showed during that infamous semi-final against West Germany. Gascoigne made 57 appearances and scored 10 goals for England. At number 7, we have Jimmy Greaves. Jimmy Greaves was the greatest goal scorer of his generation. As a striker, he was prolific in front of goal, but he was injured during the 1966 World Cup and lost his starting place in the final to Sir Geoff Hurst. However, due to a rule change, Greaves later received his World Cup winners medal, as formerly non-playing members of the squad used to not receive medals, but FIFA gladly changed it when asked by Gordon Brown. Jimmy still holds the record for the most hat-tricks for England with 6. He made 57 appearances and scored 44 goals. At number 6, when Wayne Rooney burst onto the Premiership, most people could see he was going to be a star for England and whichever top team ended up signing him. That team ended up being Manchester United. They signed him from Everton, where he went on to win multiple league titles and the Champions League. He gained the nickname Wazza due to people comparing him to Paul Gascoigne in his prime. As a player, Rooney mixes hard work and an abundance of energy with technical brilliance and tenacity. Rooney has scored some spectacular goals during his career. However, his England career is still missing a crucial goal that would have helped England win an international trophy. Thus, for some people, they've questioned whether he would be an all-time England starting 11. Even though he had an amazing Euro 2004. With that said, Rooney is England's top goal scorer with 53 goals in 119 appearances. Billy Wright, probably not a household name for you young fans, but let Master Alan school you. Billy Wright was the first footballer to earn 100 international caps. He also holds the longest unbroken run in international football, and he captained England a record 90 times, a record that he shares with Bobby Moore. His England caps include the 1950, 1954 and 1958 World Cup. As a player, despite being an excellent centre-half, Wright's character and talents in defence meant he never received a caution or was sent off whilst playing for England. Wright was respected in the game and a great example for young footballers. Fun fact, Wright was briefly the Arsenal manager, but he has the lowest win percentage out of all post-war Gunners managers. Wright played 105 games for England and scored 3 goals. Before Gary Lineker became Match of the Day host, Lineker was one of England's best strikers of all time. Lineker is still the only player to be top goal scorer in 3 different English clubs: Leicester, Everton and Spurs. Lineker is also the only English player to be top goal scorer at a World Cup, that's 1986. And again, like Wright, Lineker was a great role model for young footballers, as he never received a yellow or red card during his playing days. But that doesn't mean that Lineker lacked heart. Lineker was lethal in front of goals with 282 club goals to his name. He's also one of the most well-known English players to ever play for Barcelona. Lineker was the Ballon d'Or runner-up in 1986, and he scored 48 goals in 80 appearances for England. At 6'1", Gordon Banks was fairly short for a goalkeeper, however he's still attributed to making the greatest save of all time. In 1971 World Cup, Banks stopped the best striker, Brazilian's Pelé, from scoring a powerful header. Banks even heard Pelé shout "goal" as he thought he was destined to score. However, Banks' biggest achievement is playing in every game of England's 1966 World Cup victory. Banks' importance to England was proven in 1970 when he was out sick for their match against West Germany in the quarter-finals. His absence coincided with England's defeat. Fun fact, Banks played without gloves in a time when football pitches were as hard as concrete unless it happened to be raining that day. Sadly, in 1972 he subsequently lost his eyesight in a car crash. However, Banks was such a brilliant goalkeeper that he still managed to play one more season in USA with the likes of Pelé, Beckenbauer and Carlos Alberto, and his team won the North American Soccer League for the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. At number 2, Sir Bobby Charlton will be worth ridiculous money in today's transfer. However, for all of his skills, goals and ability, people who knew him described him as a humble man who knew he was one of the best, but never let it go to his head or change his personality. Charlton had a winning brace in the 1966 World Cup semi-final against Portugal, but in the final he was fairly quiet by his own standards. Charlton's another World Cup winner, but he's also a player that played in the great Manchester United side. As well as winning the World Cup in '66, he also won the Ballon d'Or in the same year. Charlton also helped United win their first European Cup. He scored 249 goals for Manchester United. He made 106 appearances and scored 49 goals for England. He's one of the best midfielders England ever produced and the world has ever seen. Before we get to number 1, here are some honourable mentions: David Beckham, Michael Owen, Alan Shearer and Steven Gerrard. If you agree with our list, please like and share, and make sure you download the link for the Onefootball app in our bio. At number 1, Bobby Moore was the captain of the 1966 World Cup winning England team. Moore was described as the best defender in the history of the game by German legend Franz Beckenbauer. Alex Ferguson said he was the best defender he'd ever seen, and Pelé said he was the greatest defender who ever played against. What more can be said to describe the man whose statue welcomes people when they go to England's home at Wembley? As a player, Moore had great spatial awareness and a key eye for tactics and potential assists. He delivered 2 assists in the 1966 World Cup final, and at the 1970 World Cup he played against Brazil in the group stages, and Moore tackled Jairzinho with what has been described as the perfect tackle. This summed up Moore's prowess and ability as a defender. Moore played 108 times for England and scored 2 goals, but no one else has managed to captain the England side to a World Cup victory, so he is our number 1. That's our top 10. Let me know your thoughts on who should have made our list or who should be higher or lower. I've been Anton Allen. I'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Peace.